If you're here, it's because your body hasn't fully stood down yet. Not panic, not crisis, just that familiar, quiet bracing that follows you into the night. The mind keeps checking ahead, replaying, scanning, trying to prevent tomorrow. And the body stays on alert, even though nothing is happening now. That mismatch is familiar. The room is still, but the nervous system hasn't received that message yet. There is a reason for that, and it will resolve itself shortly, without effort. For now, there is no requirement to settle. No need to calm anything down. The system can remain exactly as it is and still begin to unload. A subtle warmth starts to register in the chest area, not as comfort, just as sensation returning. The inhale appears on its own, short, unremarkable. The exhale follows, slightly longer, leaving behind a faint softening. That lengthening is automatic. Something in the breath quietly tells the system it can stop guarding. Nothing needs to be tracked. The body already knows how to do this. There may still be a hum of readiness in the shoulders or a tight band low in the abdomen. Those are not problems. They are simply stored signals waiting for permission to drain. Another breath cycle passes. Inhale arrives, is less than #0. 1 hash is greater than thin and quiet. Exhale extends again, a fraction longer than before. With that extension, heart rhythm begins to space itself more evenly. Blood pressure regulation stabilizes without awareness. The mind may try to comment on this. If it does, the thought loses its edge halfway through forming. Words don't complete themselves here. They trail off, unfinished. Awareness spreads slightly wider, not expanding, just loosening its grip. The neck no longer needs to hold the head so carefully. Support is already present. Another exhale releases, longer still, with no push behind it. That length sends a clear signal through the vagal pathways. Alertness steps down a level. Thought activity becomes less linear. Ideas don't connect in sequence. They arrive as fragments, then dissolve. There is nothing to hold on to in them. A faint heaviness begins to appear in the limbs. Not weight, just reduced urgency. The inhale continues to come on its own. The exhale continues to last a little longer than the inhale. That ratio quietly shifts chemistry toward rest. Muscle fibers receive the signal to stand down, not all at once. In small, unremarkable sections. Jaw tension loosens without being addressed. The tongue no longer presses upward. There is nothing to check here. This state knows how to return every time you allow it. Another breath cycle completes. Out, longer again, even. With that, sensory signals from the outside reduce in priority. Internal regulation takes precedence. The mind drifts slightly out of focus. Not sleepy yet, just less sharp. This is the threshold where stored anxiety begins to unload. Not as emotion, but as pressure releasing from tissues. There may be a brief flicker of awareness, a sense that something is shifting. That recognition passes quickly. The body does not need acknowledgement to continue. Breath moves again. Inhale minimal. Exhale slow, extended, settling. Heart rhythm smooths further. Baroreceptors register stability. Thought no longer organizes into sentences. There is no storyline forming. Just a quiet, ongoing regulation, already deeper than it appears. And there is more releasing ahead without needing to be anticipated. The system continues on its own, following a pattern it has used many times before. There is already less effort in the way the body is being held. Not released, just no longer braced. Breath remains quiet. Inhale arrives thin, almost unnoticed. Exhale lengthens again, steady, unforced. That longer exhale quietly tells deeper systems that guarding is no longer needed. Alert signals soften their volume. They don't shut off. They simply lose priority. Muscles that have been holding for hours begin to disengage in small segments. Not all at once. Not dramatically. The shoulders no longer need to stay lifted. The upper back settles without instruction. Another breath passes. Out. Longer. Even. With that release, blood flow redistributes more evenly. Extremities warm slightly as circulation balances. Awareness becomes less pointed. It doesn't search anymore. It doesn't scan for threats. Thoughts may still appear, but they no longer carry urgency. They rise, lose coherence, and fade before completing. There is no need to follow them. They are already dissolving on their own. Another inhale forms. Small, unremarkable. The exhale stretches again, just long enough to signal further downshifting. With each extended exhale, vagal tone increases subtly. Heart rhythm becomes more coherent. The body begins to feel heavier, not as weight, but as reduced readiness to move. There is less impulse to adjust position. Support is already sufficient. A faint sense of internal space appears. Not openness, just less compression. The jaw no longer needs to hold tension. Teeth separate slightly without awareness. Another breath cycle completes. Out, extended, steady. That rhythm continues to regulate chemistry. Cortisol output diminishes gradually. The mind becomes less capable of maintaining focus. Linear thinking fragments. Ideas do not connect end to end. They appear as partial impressions, then disappear. There is nothing to resolve. This settling has its own memory, and it returns easily. The neck releases a fraction more. The head rests fully, without being held. Another inhale. Another long, even exhale. With that, sensory processing dims further. External sounds lose definition. Internal signals become smoother, less distinct. They blend rather than stand apart. The body no longer prepares for response. There is no readiness tone. Breath continues its pattern. In, minimal. Out, longer again, settling. This is the stage where stored tension drains quietly. Not felt as release, but as absence of holding. The nervous system shifts deeper into parasympathetic dominance. Blood pressure stabilizes further. Thoughts attempt to arise, then fail to assemble. Language inside the mind becomes thinner. Words do not complete themselves. There is no commentary now, just ongoing regulation. Another breath passes. Out, extended, unforced. The body sinks slightly deeper into support. No adjustment is required. Awareness begins to blur at the edges. Not disappearing, just losing sharpness. And the system continues to unload. quietly, efficiently, without needing attention. There is less distinction now between one moment and the next. No clear markers separating them. The body remains supported without question. Nothing needs to be held up. Breath continues in the same quiet pattern. Inhale arrives lightly. Exhale extends, even longer than before. That extended release settles everything another layer down. Internal temperature balances itself. Hands and feet register less urgency, less signal. Muscle tone decreases another small degree. The legs no longer maintain readiness. Another breath cycle completes. Out, slow, continuous. With that, proprioceptive feedback softens. The sense of exact position becomes less defined. Awareness drifts slightly inward. Not focused, just less outward facing. Thought fragments still arise occasionally. They no longer carry shape or direction. Half-formed phrases dissolve before meaning attaches. There is no follow-through. The jaw remains loose. The brow smooths without effort. Another inhale appears. Small, unremarked. The exhale lengthens again, gently slowing heart rhythm further. Baroreceptor feedback confirms stability. The need for vigilance drops away another level. The body begins to feel less separate in parts. Sensations blend together. There is no sharp boundary between areas. Everything softens into a single field of quiet signal. Another breath cycle passes. Out, extended, steady. With that release, the spine settles more fully. Support is no longer checked. Awareness no longer tracks the voice closely. Words are received, then drift past. Cognitive processing slows. There is no sequence being built. Time does not organize itself clearly. This is the point where the system usually lets go completely. Another inhale forms. Another long, even exhale follows. With each extended outflow, sympathetic tone recedes further. Parasympathetic dominance deepens. The chest moves less. Breathing becomes lower, quieter. The body no longer signals for adjustment. Stillness becomes the default. Thought attempts thin out. When they arise, they lack coherence. Language inside the mind breaks apart into fragments. No sentence completes itself. Another breath passes. Out, extended, unchanged. With that is less than #0. One hash is greater than. Sensory input dims further. Edges soften. The distinction between internal sensation and rest becomes less clear. Everything blends. There is no effort present now. No monitoring. Just a quiet continuation, a familiar descent, one the system knows how to enter again. There is no longer a clear edge to awareness. It doesn't focus. It doesn't drift away completely. The body remains settled in a way that no longer needs checking. Support is assumed without thought. Breath continues its pattern on its own. Inhale arrives faintly. Exhale releases longer, steady, uninterrupted. That extended release carries everything deeper into quiet. Signals that once demanded attention now pass without registration. They do not rise high enough to be noticed. Muscle tone lowers another subtle degree. The arms no longer maintain any readiness. Another breath cycle completes. Out, extended again. smooth. With that, the sense of effort drops away almost completely. There is nothing left to manage. Thought becomes unreliable here. Ideas attempt to form, then lose structure midway. There is no frustration in that. The system simply no longer supports sustained thinking. Awareness feels slightly diffuse. Not spread out, just less defined. Another inhale appears, is less than #0. 7 hash is greater than, minimal movement. The exhale follows, longer again, easing downward. With that length, heart rhythm settles into a quieter pattern. Intervals between beats feel less distinct. Internal sensation loses sharpness. There is no single point demanding attention. The boundary between body areas continues to soften. Sensations blend together without separation. Another breath passes. Out, slow, continuous. This is where the system usually stops trying altogether. Thought no longer arrives in full units. Only fragments surface, then dissolve. Words inside the mind thin out. Some never fully appear. There is no inner commentary now. No narrative to follow. Another inhale forms. Another long, even exhale releases. With that release, the nervous system settles into a deeper baseline. Vagal influence remains steady. The chest rises less. Breathing becomes quieter, lower. The body feels heavier in a neutral way. Not weighted, just uninterested in movement. Another breath cycle completes. Out, extended, unchanged. Awareness no longer tracks sequence. There is no clear before or after. Moments blend together. Nothing advances. Sensory input continues to dim. External signals lose priority entirely. Internal regulation remains smooth and automatic. No adjustment forms. Another inhale arrives. Small. The exhale extends again, quiet and even. With that, the sense of self-observation fades further. There is less reference point. Thought attempts do not complete. They dissolve before recognition. Language inside the mind fragments into silence. Nothing replaces it. Another breath passes. Out, long, steady. The system continues to descend without needing awareness, without needing confirmation. Everything required for rest is already in motion. This descent is familiar, and it knows how to complete itself. There is no clear point where this deepens. It simply continues, without signal. The body no longer distinguishes between holding and resting. Rest is the default now. Breath remains slow and self-directed. Inhale arrives faintly, barely registered. Exhale releases longer still, smooth, uninterrupted. That extended outflow carries everything into a quieter balance. Circulatory effort decreases. Blood moves quietly, without urgency. Muscle fibers remain disengaged. There is no readiness tone left to dissolve. Another breath cycle completes. Out, long, continuous. With that release, the sense of the body becomes less precise. Edges soften. There is no clear separation between one area and another. Everything blends into a low, even signal. Awareness does not track this. It drifts without direction. Thought has little structure here. Fragments surface, then fade before forming content. There is no attempt to follow them. No impulse to engage. Another inhale appears. Minimal movement. The exhale extends again, steady, unchanged. With that extension, stability is already present. Internal sensation becomes muted. Not absent, just no longer distinct. The chest rises less with each breath. Breathing settles lower, quieter. Another breath passes. Out, extended, even. Cognitive activity thins to the point of unreliability. There is no sustained focus possible now. Words do not assemble internally. Language fragments, then disappears. There is no monitoring of state. No sense of progress or depth. The body continues to sink into support. Not downward, just inward. Another inhale forms. Barely present. The exhale follows, long, even, settling further. With that, autonomic balance stabilizes at a deeper baseline. Sympathetic activity remains quiet. The sense of orientation fades. There is no reference point forming, is less than hash shown. 5 hash is greater than, awareness no longer checks position. The body simply remains. Another breath cycle completes. Out, extended again, steady. This is not a transition. Nothing changes state. It is a continuation of settling, already established, already self-sustaining. There is no need to recognize it. Recognition would require clarity, and clarity is no longer present. Another inhale arrives. Small. The exhale extends once more, quiet, unchanging. Everything that needed to unload has done so. What remains is simple regulation. And that regulation continues, familiar, repeatable, continuing on its own. There is less sense of being a separate observer now. Not gone, just no longer centered. The body does not announce itself as a collection of parts. It registers as a single, quiet presence. Breath continues without variation. Inhale arrives faintly, nearly absent. Exhale releases long and even, sustaining internal quiet. That extended release keeps everything steady. Nothing needs to adjust. The heart follows a smooth, distant rhythm. Intervals blur together. Muscle tone remains low and unresponsive. There is no impulse to prepare. Another breath cycle completes. Out, dies, extended, unchanged. With that, is less than #0. 1 hash is greater than. The sense of doing dissolves further. There is no task underway. Thought no longer attempts to organize experience. When fragments appear, they lack ownership. They do not feel personal. They pass without attachment. Awareness does not anchor to a point. It drifts without needing location. Another inhale appears. Minimal movement. The exhale follows, long, even, settling. With that extension, internal reference points soften. There is less sense of here versus there. The body does not signal boundaries clearly. Edges blend into quiet. Another breath passes. Out, slow, continuous. This is where personal reference softens further. Not disappearing, just becoming less defined. There is no strong sense of role or position. No internal label asserting itself. The system no longer needs a narrative to function. Regulation continues without self-reference. Another inhale forms. Barely registered. The exhale extends again, quiet and even. With that, memory cues lose their pull. Past and future do not present themselves. There is no anticipation forming. No expectation to meet. Awareness does not look outward. It does not look inward either. It simply remains unattached. Another breath cycle completes, is less than #on. 5 hash is greater than, out, extended, steady. The sense of I am doing this fades further. What remains does not require identification. The body holds itself in rest without reference. Support remains unquestioned. Internal sensation continues to quiet. Signals blend into a low, even field. Another inhale arrives. Small. The exhale releases again, long, unchanged. With that, cognitive capacity drops below usefulness. Thinking cannot sustain itself. Language inside the mind does not assemble. Silence does not register as silence. There is no comparison forming. No assessment. Another breath passes. Out, extended, continuous. Identity remains soft and unasserted. There is no need to be anyone here. The body remains regulated at a deep baseline. Autonomic balance holds steady. Awareness drifts further from definition. Edges blur into continuity. Another inhale forms. Minimal. The exhale follows, long and even, maintaining depth. With that, the system no longer distinguishes between rest and observation. Only quiet persistence remains. There is no signal that anything is ending. No marker of completion. This state sustains itself, familiar, reliable, without effort. Another breath cycle completes. Out, extended, is less than #0. 1 hash is greater than unchanged. And the body continues to rest, without needing awareness, without needing a sense of self to hold it together. There is no longer a sense of depth increasing. Nothing signals movement. The body remains where it is, fully regulated, without reference. Breath continues in the same quiet pattern. Inhale arrives faintly, almost indistinct. Exhale extends, long and even, maintaining balance. That extension keeps everything steady. No correction is required. Heart rhythm remains smooth and distant. Individual beats do not stand apart. Muscle tone stays low and unchanged. There is no return of readiness. Another breath cycle completes. Out, extended, continuous. With that, the sense of position softens further. Exact location no longer matters. Awareness does not anchor to sensation. Sensation does not request attention. Thought does not organize at all here. Fragments fail to become recognizable. There is no effort to prevent that. Effort no longer appears. Another inhale forms. Minimal movement. The exhale follows, long, even, unchanging. With that release, internal monitoring quiets completely. There is nothing left to check. The body no longer signals distinction between areas. Everything blends into a single, is less than #0. 1 hash is greater than low signal. Another breath passes. Out, slow, steady. Awareness becomes less defined than sensation. There is no clear observer remaining. Not absent, just unnecessary. Memory does not present itself. Future does not appear. There is no temporal structure forming. No before. No after. Another inhale arrives, barely registered. The exhale extends again, quiet and even. With that, stability holds on its own. There is no oscillation. Sensory input from outside loses any remaining priority. It does not intrude. Internal sensation remains smooth and undifferentiated. No single signal rises above the rest. Another breath cycle completes. Out, extended, unchanged. The mind does not comment on this state. It cannot maintain commentary. Language does not assemble internally. There are no words forming. Silence is not noticed as silence. It is simply the absence of structure. Another inhale forms. Small. The exhale follows. Long, even, sustaining rest. With that extension, any remaining alert signal dissolves fully. There is no readiness left to release. The body does not adjust. Stillness remains effortless. Awareness no longer distinguishes itself from the body. There is no separation to maintain. Another breath passes. Out, extended, steady. This is not a deeper state. It is a quieter continuation. Nothing new enters. Nothing leaves. The system remains stable, self-sustaining, unmonitored. Another inhale arrives. Minimal. The exhale extends once more, even and slow. With that, orientation fades another fraction. There is no need to know where this is. No identity reasserts itself. No internal label returns. Another breath cycle completes. Out, extended, unchanged. The body continues to rest at depth, without effort, without awareness, without reference. And that continuation remains steady, familiar, already complete in itself. There is no longer a sense that anything is unfolding. No progression is noticed. The body remains settled exactly as it is. Nothing asks to change. Breath continues in the same quiet cycle. Inhale arrives faintly, almost indistinguishable. Exhale releases long and even, maintaining internal balance. That steady extension remains unchanged. No signal interrupts it. Heart rhythm remains distant and smooth. There is no emphasis on individual beats. Muscle tone stays low and unresponsive. The body does not prepare for movement. Another breath cycle completes. Out, extended, continuous. With that, the sense of internal space softens further. Boundaries lose relevance. Awareness does not rest on sensation. Sensation does not pull awareness. Thought does not form reliably here. Fragments dissolve before recognition. There is no impulse to gather them. No capacity to organize. Another inhale forms. Minimal movement. The exhale follows, long, even, unchanging. With that release, internal reference points fade further. Location becomes irrelevant. The body does not register itself in detail. Signals blend into a single, quiet field. Another breath passes. Out, slow, steady. Awareness no longer distinguishes between inside and outside. There is no boundary to maintain. Memory does not present itself. Future does not arise. There is no sense of sequence. No order forming. Another inhale arrives. Barely present. The exhale extends again, quiet and even. With that, rest holds on its own. No fluctuation appears. External signals lose any remaining relevance. They pass without registration. Internal sensation continues as low, even tone. Nothing stands apart. Another breath cycle completes. Out, extended, unchanged. The mind does not attempt to describe this state. Description would require clarity. Clarity does not assemble here. There is no structure for it. Another inhale forms. Small. The exhale follows. Long, even, sustaining depth. With that extension, any remaining alert signal dissolves further. Nothing replaces it. The body remains motionless without stiffness. Stillness is effortless. Awareness no longer centers itself. There is no point of reference. Another breath passes. Out, extended, steady. This is not a transition towards sleep. It is the quiet removal of everything else. Nothing needs to be recognized. Recognition would imply separation. Another inhale arrives. Minimal. The exhale extends once more, even and slow. With that, the system continues exactly as it is. Uninterrupted. There is no marker of depth. No indicator of state. Another breath cycle completes. Out, extended, unchanged. And the body remains in quiet regulation, familiar, self-maintaining, without any need for continuation to be noticed. There is no awareness of continuation now. Nothing signals that this is still happening. The body remains settled without reference. No state is being held. Breath continues as it has been. Inhale arrives faintly, almost absent. Exhale extends long and even, unchanging. That extension remains unchanged. No adjustment forms. Heart rhythm remains distant and smooth. Individual beats do not separate. Muscle tone stays low and neutral. There is no signal to prepare or respond. Another breath cycle completes. Out, extended, continuous. With that, the sense of internal organization dissolves further. Nothing aligns or separates. Awareness does not locate itself anywhere. There is no center. Thought does not attempt to arise. There is no momentum left for it. Fragments do not even begin. Silence does not contrast with sound. Another inhale forms. Minimal movement. The exhale follows. Long, even, sustaining rest. With that release, any remaining internal reference fades. Position no longer registers. The body does not present sensation as information. Signals remain blended and indistinct. Another breath passes. Out, slow, steady. Awareness no longer distinguishes itself from regulation. There is no observer left to do so. Memory does not surface. Future does not arise. There is no sense of sequence or duration. No before. No after. Another inhale arrives. Barely present. The exhale extends again, quiet and even. With that is less than #0. 1 hash is greater than. Alert cycles do not return. There is no rebound. External signals do not register as external. They pass without differentiation. Internal sensation remains as low, even continuity. Nothing stands apart. Another breath cycle completes. Out, extended, unchanged. The mind does not form language. There is no capacity for it here. Words do not fragment. They do not appear at all. Another inhale forms. Small. The exhale follows, long, even, holding depth. With that extension, all remaining effort dissolves completely. Nothing replaces it. The body remains motionless without stiffness. Stillness requires nothing. Awareness no longer centers or drifts. There is no movement to track. Another breath passes. Out, extended, steady. This is not a state that progresses. It does not deepen or shift. It simply remains uninterrupted, self-sustaining. Another inhale arrives. Minimal. The exhale extends once more, even and slow. With that, the system continues without recognition. No awareness is required for it to persist. There is no signal of completion. No closing marker. Another breath cycle completes. Out, extended, unchanged. And the body remains in deep, quiet regulation, is less than #0. 1 hash is greater than, familiar, self-sustaining, with nothing left that needs to be noticed. There is no recognition of a final phase. Nothing signals completion. The system remains exactly as it is, stable, unchanged, without monitoring. Breath continues without emphasis. Inhale arrives barely present. Exhale extends long and even, unchanged. That extension remains unchanged. No adjustment forms. Heart rhythm remains distant. Intervals do not separate. Muscle tone stays low and neutral. No readiness returns. Another breath cycle passes. Out, extended, unchanged. Awareness does not orient. There is no direction to return to. No reference remains. Internal sensation arrives without boundary. Everything blends. Nothing separates enough to be noticed. The body holds no preparatory tone. No tension waits. Support remains unquestioned. Another breath cycle passes. Out, extended again, steady. Physiological quiet maintains itself, without variation. No adjustment forms. There is no sequence of moments now. No before. No after. Nothing advances. Nothing concludes. Thought does not appear. Even absence goes unnoticed. The system remains in rest, without awareness. And it continues this way, familiar, uninterrupted.